Hey guys, Cameron Blagan here, and I'm coming to you with a tutorial on how to set up your Force1RC controller. Real quick, just overview, if you haven't watched my how to fit your receiver in your drone video, go ahead and check that out. But just a brief overview, this case does need to come off of your receiver, and then the receiver will go right in here and it nests just right in this plastic housing. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take a small flathead screwdriver and your receiver with the casing, and you're going to put it right on where the tab is. Try to get out of the way there. Right on the tab. Press down on it. And then once you get that kind of clicked, you're going to want to pull the casing off just like that. And you want to be careful not to stab the board inside while you're doing that. I'll show you again on this one here. You just kind of take it, you just push down just like that, and it'll click right off. So now this part of the case will pop right off, and I've already done it for you here, but you can see right here, you'll see on your board there will be a piece of plastic right here over the pins, and it is possible to get your board out without taking that off. I just went and snipped it off. I snipped it off with some diagonal cutters, little piece of plastic, just comes right out of there, and then this will pop off much more easy. Like I said, you don't need to cut that thing to get this out, but it may be a little bit easier for you, especially if you don't plan on reusing the case. If you do plan on reusing the case, I would not cut that. An important thing to note is the direction the wires are facing. So you can see on this casing, the S-bus indicator will say negative is facing away from you. The signal wire, which is like the little box there, right here by the S-bus, is towards you. And so that just means that the white wire, the signal wire, is facing towards you, and the black wire, the ground wire, is away from you. So that's important to wire that up. You plug that up. You plug that up. Again, like I said, the case goes off, nests right in your plastic housing, just right there. The pins go facing towards the camera. The antenna just wraps around there. And one important thing to note before you do close your casing back up, because I know I've done this numerous times, just forgetting, this receiver does need to have a blue light lit. So you can see it's blue right now. Right next to it, there's a little button. If it's lit red, which it will be by default, you need to press this button 2 times, and it will light up blue and red at the same time, but right now you can only see the blue. And you will be now in S-bus mode, which is what this drone uses for the receiver, and that is how your receiver is set up. So now let's get going on how to set up your controller. Alright, so let's get the Force1RC 18.9 open. You can see a nice branding on there. This controller is one of the nicest and most advanced currently on the market. And a quick note on best ways to use your controller. Always have your antenna straight with a slight angle, kind of like that, while you're flying. That will make things a lot easier. So you can see, very nice right off the bat, but aside from that, how to use it, you can either use the included, I believe it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 AA battery adapter, which is super nice because a lot of controllers don't include stuff like this. You just have to buy your own rechargeable LiPo. But if you do want to use a rechargeable LiPo, you can use one like this. This one's a little small. I'd recommend a larger one, but this will work for our demonstration. It's got to have a connector like that, and then you just plug it right up. And this goes same connector on the AA adapter, and the positive goes towards the top and the negative towards the bottom. And then you just put the wires down so they don't get caught in the way, and close the back door. Alright, so now you can see this will power right up. So before you power up, and I didn't do it here, you want to make sure all your switches are always up, in the up position, and your throttle is always all the way down. Okay, so you can see here that this is your opening screen. You can cycle through that just like that, and your dial here changes through some options. This is your indicator screen, so when you move the controls, it will read that on here. So we're just going to go for a clean setup here. So what you're going to want to do first is hold mode, and then you're going to go to model type. Now if you've already have settings on here, you're going to want to make a new model, but if you're just starting off, like this video teaches, this is how you're going to want to set up your controller. So you can see the type is helicopter right now, and what's really cool about this controller is you can actually cycle it through and choose aircraft, which is a drone. And not a lot of controllers are set up just for drones. A lot of them are set for helicopters or airplanes. So you're going to want to hold down like that. You'll say, are you sure? You press again. Please wait. You'll hear several beeps, and then you will be set to aircraft. You're going to want to just leave the other settings standard and hit end. And that's all we got to do right now on the controller. We're going to get it on the computer, and then I will talk to you guys a little bit more about some setting changes you have to do. Okay, so first step to setting up your controller on the computer is going to involve taking a micro USB, you can see, taking a micro USB and plugging it up into the back of the drone. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the antenna off here very quickly to show you that. So you just take your cord, make sure it's facing the correct direction of your drone right there. You want to make sure that this isn't pushing up too hard because of the antenna, so it doesn't rip it off of the board, because that is very difficult to fix. And you also want to make sure that this thing doesn't extend too far back so it's at an angle, or you wiggle it too much, because that connection can break off and it is very frustrating. So now you're just going to take the other end and plug it right into your computer, and we are going to jump to the on-screen camera to show you what we got to do on screen to get this drone to fly, and how to bind your controller and set up your controller. Alright, so we're on the computer now. You can see I have my Chrome browser open. So what you're going to do is you're going to search cleanflight Chrome app, just like that. And the first thing that'll come up is cleanflight configurator. Cleanflight configurator. That's a tongue twister. So you're going to click on that. It's going to take you to the Chrome Web Store. And now right up here, you're going to click Add to Chrome or Download. So then to get to your apps, what you're going to do, you can see I'm already on that screen, but you're going to search Chrome://apps/. You can also kind of just Google around to see how to get there, but you'll see now here, the CleanFlight app is now on your browser. And this is super nice because it is always just on your browser. It's not downloaded to your computer. So you're going to click that, open it up, and now you can see you are connected to CleanFlight. You can see right here in the upper right corner it says connect. But if this says manual selection, that means your drone is not plugged up. So I'm going to go ahead and just put the other end of the USB cord into my computer here. You can hear the drone beep here. And now it's reading COM3. And that's just fine. If you do need help getting this to connect, please comment, let us know. But what you're going to need to do is download these drivers. There's a lot of instructions just right here in front of you, as well as a lot of forms already up online, and the manual does a good job of explaining how to download the driver to read this drone. But it should just connect right up. It should have all the drivers you need pre-installed. So you can see now you're getting a live readout of the drone. And so when I spin the drone spins. When you tilt it forward, backwards, left, right, you get a readout of the drone, which is extremely cool. If you find that when you're flying and it's just going crazy, it's not flying correctly, then you can click this calibrate accelerometer right here, but make sure it's on a perfectly level surface, and make sure nothing's moving during calibration, and it will reset that calibration. So now I'll go more into how to use CleanFlight and change modes in a moment, but right now we're just going to configure the receiver. So we're going to click on the receiver tab. To make this work, you're going to need both the receiver and a battery for your drone and the drone. So I'm going to turn the receiver or the controller on and then power up my drone. So you'll hear everything beep, and now you can see these numbers are now reading live on the CleanFlight. You can see immediately there's a few problems. If you look right now, the throttle, when I move up on the controller, you can see there when I move up on the controller, right now I'm moving down, up, down, up. So when I move the throttle up, the numbers go down, and when I move the throttle down, the numbers go up. That is not how you want it to work. So what you're going to have to do is on the controller, not on the computer, you hold down mode till you get into the menu screen. From there, you're going to go to reverse, and you're going to find throttle, which is under number 3, as you can see there. And you're going to click on it once, press the button down once. You're going to scroll this over to reverse. Hold it down, it'll say, are you sure? And now, as you can see on the program, when you move the throttle up, it moves up. When you move the throttle down, it moves down. So you want the same thing for all the controls. So you can see when I move left, right on the yaw, it moves correctly, so that's good. Pitch, oh, that one's backwards too. When I move it down, the pitch moves up. When I move it up, the pitch moves down. So I know from experience that's the elevator, and I kind of remember that because it elevates or declines a plane, and that's what that was named after. And so you can see after I reversed that on here using the same process, that's now reading correctly. Roll is also reading correctly. So on most of these models, the pitch and the throttle are going to be the two things you're going to need to reverse. First of all, we'll do sub-trim. So sub-trim is the micro-trim that you do on the drone. So you can see on the screen, all of them are flicking around 1500, but you want them to be exactly in the middle. So on the same menu, you're going to go into the sub-trim option, and you're going to find all of them, and you're going to move this around until you can see that it is as close to 1500 as you can. Now, if you didn't do this at all, it wouldn't make that big of a difference, but this will just make your flying experience even better. So to change it, you just click right on it, you scroll it, that you don't really need to mess with throttle at all, but all the other ones you're going to want to mess with until they are right at 1500, and you can see these ones are close, they're only one off, perfect. And then you don't worry about your aux channels, just for the 4 control sticks, because that'll be what makes the most difference. So as you can see, as soon as I turned it on, as long as the drone was on S-Bus and the controller's powered on, this just pops right up and it is connected and it's reading, and that's great. So now to get the controller to arm the drone, you're going to need to go to modes, and there will already be an arm set. What you're going to want to do is move the range. These sliders move the range to 1800 to 21,000, or I mean it could be a little bigger, it doesn't really matter, but that's what I recommend. Now on your controller, you're going to go to the Aux Channels, and you're going to make sure Aux 1 is set to switch D. So you can see switch D. And you're just going to hit that enter. So you're going to want to make sure that this is set to Aux 2. Make sure all your switches are up when you do this, and then click save. So now on your controller, you're going to go to channel 6 here in the Aux Channels, and you're going to set channel 6 to switch SWD. So now that that's set, if you hit this switch, you can hear 2 beeps, and that little slider moves into the armed category. And then if you slide that off, then it is no longer armed. So while it's armed, as you can hear real quick, the motors can rev up. And now we've got this aux to arm and disarm. So now as soon as you flip that switch, you can now control your motors, which is super sweet, very easy. Like I said, all you got to do is assign that switch on the controller like I demonstrated, and then assign that in the modes over here, where you just have aux 2, and you have aux 2 set on your controller, which is channel 6 as switch D. So as you can see, it moves into the green area, and then when it moves out, it's not armed. Now if your switch for some reason is reversed, and it's starting over here with the switch up, or you want it to be armed when it's up, you can move this around to do whatever value you want. You can also, because this controller is so customizable, you can also choose other switches such as switch C, G, H, whatever you choose to arm it. But this is what I recommend if you're just trying to get started, and that's the most convenient one to arm. And it's also on your non-throttle hand, which means you can more easily flip it and let go of those controls on the right. So I hope this helps. So if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Contact our customer service. Let us know in some way. And also visit the Force1RC.com website. We really want to help you guys out, make this as easy as possible. If you haven't checked out my other videos on how to set flight modes or how to put the receiver into the drone, please check that out. Yeah, this really help you out, how to get your receiver in your drone, set your flight modes, etc. Again, let us know if you have any questions. Please let me know. Again, this is all you got to do to set up your controller is you make sure all your values are centered. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again in another video.